Good morning and welcome to the University of North Georgia Public Safety Academy graduation. We're so proud y'all could make it here today. Would everyone please stand and for our Pledge of Allegiance and our national anthem, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, we're going to have an invocation by Coordinator Sally Parker.
Please bow your heads. Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for the opportunity to be here today. We thank you that you woke us up this morning. We thank you that your mercies are new every day. Lord, I am personally thankful for these graduates that are sitting before us. I'm thankful for the opportunity that we've had to get to know them over these last 4 years, to teach them, to train them, to advise them, and to just know their hearts. Lord, I'm thankful for their desire to serve and the dedication that they've made over these years to become police officers. God, I just pray as they begin their careers that you would watch over them, that you would be their protector, that you would comfort them and give them strength in the times that they face, or they'll see things that people should not see. And I pray that during those times that they would lean on you for that comfort, and that they would know, Lord, that their hope ultimately is in you, and that no matter what, Lord, as long as that they know you, God, that no matter what happens, no matter any mistakes they ever make, no matter the good times, the bad times, whatever it is, that their identity is in who you say they are, God, a child of God. Lord, again, I thank you so much for your blessings and the opportunities that you give us, and I just pray that we would glorify you with all that we do on a daily basis. I pray and I ask this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. You may be seated, please. Okay, we have had the opportunity to have several real great speakers, we think, great leaders here today. Our first speaker served as a commissioned officer in the U.S. Army for 20 years, retiring in 2015 with the rank of Lieutenant Colonel. For more than 10 years, he provided leadership and technical and operational expertise to the U.S. Department of Defense as an expert in nuclear technology issues, and later held leadership assignments with the Defense Threat Reduction Agency. He also served at the U.S. Military Academy at West Point during 2 different leadership assignments as an instructor and later as an assistant professor in the Department of Physics and Nuclear Engineering. At West Point, he was actively engaged in several activities in support of cadet and Army officer development. Prior to joining the University of North Georgia, he served on Georgia Tech's executive leadership team and was responsible for strategic leadership and operations of human resources, finance and budget, information technology, capital planning, campus security, and emergency response. In addition, he served in numerous faculty, leadership, and advisory roles, including as a research faculty member and principal investigator at the Advanced Concepts Laboratory at the Georgia Tech Research Institute. He continues to serve veterans' causes, is an active member of church, and is a coach for multiple local youth sports programs. He and his wife, Jessica, have 4 children. Please join me in welcoming our president of the University of North Georgia, Dr. Michael Shannon.
Well, good morning. Is everybody warmed up yet? Yeah, a little chilly. Hey, if you haven't ever been, you are in the greatest place on earth. So welcome to Dahlonega, Georgia. Hopefully this isn't your first time here, and I encourage you, after you leave today, to walk around our amazing campus and our beautiful town. This is a really special place here in North Georgia. Right, guys? You guys would agree? Yeah, it's a pretty cool place. Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome. It is a privilege to be here today. You know, we do a lot of things at the University of North Georgia. We are the Military College of Georgia. We are the Army Senior Military College. We produce more nurses and teachers and business leaders than most schools in our state. And I could go on and on and on, but something that I believe one of the things I am the most proud of is what we're here to celebrate today. And that is developing and building people who are willing to be public servants in the most ultimate way we can. Many of us serve the public, but there is no greater calling to serve our community than in law enforcement. So I cannot tell you how excited I am about being here today. And I hope you appreciate the venue. This is a big deal, so we wanted to do this in a big place and show our respect. And I know you all feel like you're in this giant arena, which you are, but your story fills this arena today. Even though these seats are full, your story fills this arena today. And it's the story that's already been written about you. You all had the guts to say, you know what? I want to do something different than most people. So I want to take you all back a couple of years ago when you were in high school. For some, maybe many years ago. How many? We won't go there. Okay. Anyway, I want to take you back and think about the people you sat in your classes with in high school. And think about how many of them would have, quite frankly, the heart, the guts, the instincts to want to come do something like this. Probably none, maybe 1 or 2, but the numbers are incredibly small. And so I want you all to know how big of a deal this is and how proud we are. And ladies and gentlemen, that's why we're celebrating today. We're celebrating the heart and guts and commitment of people willing to say, you know what, I'll work all night. I'll work on Christmas. I'll work on Thanksgiving. I'll work on the 4th of July. I'll go work that event that I know is going to be full of interesting people. I'll go wherever the radio voice tells me to go with the lights on because somebody on the other end needs my help. And I'm probably going to be the first one there. and I'm probably going to see things that no human should have to go and see. I'll do it. Send me. I'll do it. And ladies and gentlemen, that's the character of these young people sitting here today. All of them. And check this out, men and women. And it's about equal. Ladies, I'm proud of you. Because this is an area, oh, don't be so mean to your buddy over there. So proud of you guys and gals for being willing to do this. Because this isn't about men, this isn't about women, this is about servants. People willing to come and do hard things. And so we're incredibly proud of you. You know, law enforcement makes us the nation that we are. And we are a nation of order. We are a nation of respect. Now, I know that might be challenged in the last several decades, but at the end of the day, what distinguishes us from any nation on the planet is the fact that we are a nation of order. And order is delivered by law enforcement, people willing to keep order. I think of them as the 3 Ps. What do you protect? People, property, and peace. You protect the peace. And so as you go about what you're about to go do, and I know some of you are going in very different directions. Some of you are already wearing the uniform and you're out doing great things already. Some of you, by the way, all my law enforcement colleagues out here, if you don't give them a job offer before you leave here today, shame on you. Because some of them still need a job. But we know they're in an environment where they have a lot of choices. And some of them, like my friend down here, is going to go and work in the arson side of things. I think that is amazingly awesome. Because across all of this portfolio, we need people. We need great people. We need leaders. And so I just want to say thank you. Thank you for your willingness to make our communities better. People sleep well at night knowing that if something happens, they can pick up the phone and you will come. There is not a person in America that doesn't believe that. Now, there are bad guys that don't want you to come, but that's a good thing because we want you to go and get them. But by and large, and we all know this, we sleep well at night knowing that if something happens, whether it's something requiring a police officer or somebody requiring any kind of help, that we can call and you're going to see these young people show up in the middle of the night. And so I just want to say thank you. Thank you for what you're about to do. We talked about how big you have filled this arena. What you haven't filled this arena yet with is the story that's unwritten, what you're about to go do. And so I'm more proud of what you're about to go do. Look, this is awesome. You've gotten there. You did it. But go do it. Go do it. Because what's going to make us the most proud is when you're out there. And by the way, folks, we could talk all day about the accomplishments of our students who have done this, who have gone through this. And recently we've celebrated several of those. And you all are going to be a part of that story. Men and women doing things that they just believe is part of their duty, but they're heroic things. And so keep in mind, what's ahead of you is more important than what's behind you. And what you're about to go do and what we will celebrate is that story that you will write every day when you get up. I would say put on the uniform, but some of you may not have to do that. But when you go out and step into the environments that you will step into. So we're incredibly proud of you, moms and dads. Thank you for your support of these great young people. I hope that you have found what we have offered and delivered them to be of great value. We'll talk a lot about this for those that will be at commencement tomorrow. We'll talk about your connection to this great university. I also want to thank my teammates behind me. These folks that put on this program, from Douglas to Butch to Sally all the way down, I will tell you, there is no more committed people in the world to this work, and you guys would agree. I get blown away with the stuff that these people are able to accomplish. And so I'm very grateful, Butch, Sally, to the entire team back here for all you do to help us. To Chief Williams, thank you for the support you give, because you bring unique resources to this program that we wouldn't have. And so y'all, I'm so proud of you. Congratulations. Godspeed, and know that I'll sleep better tonight knowing you're on the watch. Take care. Go Nighthawks.
Thank you so much, sir. Okay, our next speaker had a 30-year law enforcement career. He served as a commissioned law enforcement officer in South Carolina, Idaho, Washington. He has served roles in various areas, including collision reconstruction, street crimes, truancy, sexual assault, and he's an operator of a polygraph. He's a retired detective in the Major Crimes Unit of the Spokane, Washington Police Department. He also holds membership in the Police Executive Research Forum, Academy of Criminal Justice Sciences, the American Society of Criminologists, and the Homicide Research Working Group. He is nationally certified as a polygraphist examiner through the American Polygraph Association, certified as an NC Computer Forensic Examiner. He earned his doctorate degree in criminal justice from Washington State University, has a master's degree in organizational leadership, a master's in business administration, and a master's in cybersecurity. He earned his doctorate degree in criminal justice. Please welcome our Criminal Justice Department head, Dr. Douglas Orr.
Each year, as department head, I get to come to this ceremony and deliver a charge to the group. Takes maybe 4 or 5 minutes. I take up about maybe 1 or 2% of the program. So I'm like, when you go to that drive-in, you get that cellophane container of your meal, you open it up, and there's that beautiful sandwich you ordered, and then there's that pickle. And you either get it or you don't, you either eat it or you're not, but you still get it. So I'm your pickle. But today, as I understand it, one of our speakers, in fact the main speaker, may be delayed, may even not be here. So Dr. Newkirk came up to me and says, "You're the speaker." So being in positions like this, you got to think quick on your feet. So I'll deliver the charge in just a second, and you'll probably get a little bit more than what you were in for today. But I want to thank you, the families that are here today, for trusting us with your loved ones. Throughout our country, a lot of universities are given to sensationalism, they're given to nonsense, and our president has rightly hijacked the conversation, placed it on student success and the future. And so we go about teaching your loved ones not what to think, but how to think. And we think that's very important here. Just one of the things that we do. So let's talk about the future. Whenever you fill out something, let's say you go on LinkedIn and you fill out one of those things about yourself, the I Love Me page, normally at the bottom there'll be something that says hobbies. And for me, I've always had no problem filling that out. For me, it's always been music. My father was, before he went into the ministry, he was a classical broadcaster for NBC Radio in Philadelphia. And so I learned all the greats as far as classical music went growing up. My mom and I would hop in the car and use the AM radio to listen to the Beatles and the Partridge Family and do it that way too. But I was given to music all my life, even minored in it when I went to undergraduate. So music has always won hands down with me. And so I've followed a lot of the people in the industry as much as I enjoy it. And one of my favorite composers is David Foster. And he has been affiliated with a lot of groups, Earth, Wind, and Fire. He's written a lot of stuff and produced for Chicago. If somebody, Celine Dion, if somebody has had a big hit, David Foster probably wrote it and produced it. And in addition to writing and producing, he's also been somewhat of a kingmaker. So if he has you involved in a project, somewhere down the line, you're going to turn into something special. And there's a very rare story that he has, that he told one time, that this was many, many years ago. I say many years ago because I'm old. Many years ago, he had won a Grammy. He's one of 17 Grammys. He won a Grammy for a song that he wrote called The Prayer. And this was going to be performed at the Grammys by Celine Dion and Andre Bocelli. And Bocelli called him, and it was back when you had that rare volcanic eruption over there in Europe, and it had stalled air traffic for a good day or two. Nobody could get in or out. And Bocelli called him and said, look, I'll be there for the actual performance at the Grammys, but I can't make the dress rehearsal and the sound check. Foster said, not a problem. I got a kid here in New York City. He's got a good set of pipes. He'll stand in for you. I'll get him. He'll stand in for you. He'll do the dress rehearsal with Celine Dion. And nobody will be the wiser. You just show up the next day, do the performance, you'll be out. He says, great. Foster picks up the phone, and he calls this kid across town in Manhattan. Kid picks up the phone. He says, Foster says to him, hey, look, I got this opportunity, and he tells him just what I just told you. He tells the kid, I need you to sing with Celine Dion and do the sound check, dress rehearsal. Kid says, man, I'm going to City University, and I've got this really important chemistry test. I've got to take it. I can't miss it, and so I'm just going to have to pass. And he hangs up on him. And his mom and dad are sitting there listening to this conversation, they're hearing half of it, and they said, who is that? And he said, well, it's David Foster. He wants me to sing with Celine Dion, but I got to pass this chemistry test. And they said, are you nuts? Call him back and tell him you're going to do it. Well, across town, Foster's looking at his phone going, this kid just hung up on me. So he calls him back. Kid picks up the phone, and Foster says, look, I don't know what you think this is, but I'm not asking. The kid ended up showing up for the dress rehearsal, and he sang with Celine Dion. Missed his chemistry test. That kid was Josh Groban. So I don't need to sell you on how wonderful this university is or how wonderful the Public Safety Academy is. You know it is the kingmaker here in Georgia. And I know, and I can attest to this, in 20 years, we will have littered the ranks of leadership in Georgia law enforcement with you. And we've given you a sense, or we've told you to go out and do really two things in this program. To do justice and walk humbly. And it seems cliche, doesn't it? Do justice. What is that? And I rely a lot on my father's stories from the pulpit. And I'll always learn something new whenever he tells a story. And he was talking one time about the Lord going through the synagogue and seeing that they had set up the bingo tables and the money changers, and how he went through there in a fury and overturned very uncharacteristic, went through there and overturned the money tables and the money changers. And he did his sense of justice. But one thing, if you read the passage very carefully, it said he fashioned a whip of cords. I thought that was really interesting. He went there, he saw what was going on, took it all in, and went and fashioned a whip of cords. It took him a while to do that. And then he went back and did justice. Now, over the last 4 years, we have helped you fashion that whip of cords. And although we've trained you in your sidearm, we've trained you in defensive tactics and life-saving and all of that, but your whip of cords is your mind. We've taught you to think critically. We've taught you to think with graciousness, and all of that makes you humble. So go out and do justice. Go out and be humble, because we are not asking. Thank you.
Our next speaker, interest in law enforcement, started early in high school, as some of these young men and women did, as a police explorer. During summer break from Georgia Southern University, he attended and graduated as a police officer from Georgia Public Safety Training Center in Savannah, Georgia. He then worked as a dispatcher for Georgia College and State University Police Department for 3 months, and then was promoted to police officer, where he served the next 7 years and rose through the ranks and served as a sergeant, a lieutenant, and an officer in charge of special operations. He has a bachelor's degree in criminal justice from Georgia College and State University, and after getting his bachelor's degree, he moved to Athens, where he was a police officer at the University of Georgia. He also has a master's degree in public administration from Columbus State University. He has received his Georgia Peace Officer Standard in Training, Intermediate, Advanced, Executive, Supervisory, and Field Training Officer certification. He joined the University of North Georgia Police Department in 2015 as a captain in emergency management, and in 2017 was promoted to Associate Director of Emergency Preparedness. On December the 21st, 2021, he became our Chief of Police at the University of North Georgia. He's also one of our biggest supporters in helping me get this for these young men and women. Please welcome Chief Greg Williams.
All right, good morning. How's everybody doing? What a beautiful day in Dahlonega, right? We could have turned the temperature up just a little bit, but it's nice and cool. Hey, I'm thinking back 4 years ago when you all came here. Does anybody remember what the world looked like back then? Think back a little bit, right? As you heard Butch say, my background was emergency management, so I can clearly remember about 4 years ago what we were doing. And what I want to do, the reason I bring that up is I want to acknowledge that when you all came here around 4 years ago, life was weird, right? It was different, right? Parents, you can remember that. And you didn't get to have the traditional experience when you arrived. And maybe part of your journey here wasn't necessarily the traditional experience that you're having today or that we had wished upon you at the time. But we were doing things in a manner that we believed at the time was in the best interest of public health, public safety, and for everyone. And I just want to acknowledge to you and to our families and everyone here, I'm proud of y'all. You did something really, really hard. We didn't know where we were headed. We didn't know what we were doing most of the time. You had to stay 6 feet away from each other. You had to wear a mask. You couldn't even see your instructor's face, your peer's face. But despite all of that difficulty, you persevered because you believed that we were going to get to a better place and we would get back to normal. And fast forward 4 years, here we are. And you did that even in the midst of what was going on in the world 4 years ago. Look back in 2020, what was going on in the public safety community back in those years? And you still chose to be a law enforcement officer. There were law enforcement officers being indicted for crimes for committing their jobs. There were law enforcement officers that were being imprisoned for making decisions in a split second. Law enforcement officers were being villainized at a time that you chose to become a law enforcement officer. And I just want to acknowledge that we've come a long way in those years, and you have persevered through that, and despite the challenges, you're here today. And I'm extremely proud of you. I know your families are. I know our entire communities that you're about to go serve are extremely proud of you. But today is not about just a moment of great pride for our graduates, but it's for everyone that has been here to witness your journey. And it's been an amazing journey for sure. You've completed a rigorous and unique 4-year program that has prepared you for one of the most honorable professions there is, and that is law enforcement. I've spent my entire career, 21 years, working in the University System of Georgia as a law enforcement officer, and it's been one of the greatest joys of my life. And I know you are about to experience that in whatever agencies or communities that you're about to go to. But choosing this path is truly a testament to your character. You've committed yourselves to a profession built on service, sacrifice, and an unwavering dedication to justice and community, like you've heard from the 2 speakers before us. You are about to be called to do hard things, things that some people don't want to even think about that can occur in our community in the middle of the night. You're going to see things that most humans will never have to see. You're going to hear things that you can't unhear. You are going to be there in people's worst moment of their life, and you're going to help them persevere to see a better day, because you are truly the peacemakers of our communities, our state, and our country. And without people like you, we would not be who we are today, as Dr. Shannon mentioned a minute ago. As I'm talking about, law enforcement is not easy. There's going to be challenges. There's going to be moments of doubt. You're going to be putting that uniform on some days, and you're going to go, I don't know if I can go and do this again today. I don't know if I can experience that again. I don't know if I can talk to someone else experiencing that again. But I want you to know that there are peaks and there are valleys in this job, whether it's the work you're doing, the communities you're working in, the co-workers you're with. But every day, what I want you to remember is that the peaks are always more rewarding than those valleys. And it's okay to have difficult times in your career, and it's okay to have thoughts and wonder, why am I doing this? Why did I get into this? But the most important thing to remember is that why you got into this job. Start with your why. Remember what it felt like today, or even the past 4 years when you began this journey, as to why you're here. And then I think you'll always find yourself remembering that you are an important and a special part of our communities, and we need you. So whether it's your passion for making your community safer, standing up for those who cannot, or simply being a beacon of hope in challenging times, that purpose should guide you. And I want you to remember that every day. This program, one of the most unique in this state and this country, has given you a foundation for success. You have completed something unlike most law enforcement officers in the entire country will ever complete. It was difficult, it was hard, it was challenging. We've asked you to think in ways that most police officers will never think and just don't think. You have been trained to be the next generation leader. I hope all of you will be standing in the space that I'm in the years to come, and will be talking to the future leaders of our profession, because we need great people like you to carry the torch forward. So you've learned the skills, values, and principles that will serve you well to step into your roles as servant leaders. And I want you to remember that. You are servant leaders. What you're going to do every day is to serve the better interest of your organizations, your communities, your state, your country, not yourself. That's the profession you've chosen, is that you are going to make everything around you, everyone around you, better. And remember, your goal, what you want your legacy to be, what do you want people to say about you when you leave? Okay? Remember, somebody came before you and laid the foundation to make the place, the great place that you are about to go and experience and have a small part of. You're a small piece of the history. But all I'm going to ask you to do is leave the badge, leave the uniform in a better place than you found it. Okay? That's all you've got to do. Just leave it in a better place than you found it, and you have succeeded. And then your legacy will live on in your community, your agency, forever, if you can do that. You must always focus on the people that you serve. The people are the thunder and the lightning of our organizations. They make things happen. You can have all of the policies, procedures, and programs, beautiful police cars, cool gear. You know, as cops, we like stuff, right? We like stuff, right? My boss says all the time, y'all have so much stuff. Y'all got a lot of stuff, cars and guns and badges and all kind of things. But you know what? None of that stuff really has any value without the people who use it. It's the people who drive those cars, who operate those weapons, who wear those badges. That's where the true value is. And I challenge each of you, as you become leaders in your organizations and in our profession, to always focus on the people and put others on your shoulders and help them rise up to the places they want to go, because somebody put you on their shoulders to get you where you are here today. So I challenge you to do that. And the other thing, as you've heard up here, always make sure that the uniform you're wearing, everything you do with dignity, respect, and fairness and equity, because you represent the community that chose to hire you, and your name on your nameplate represents the family that you come from. So you want to always make sure that you represent both of those with the highest dignity. Now, to close, I know you're prepared for this journey, and every single person in this room, your family that can't be here, your communities you're about to go serve, are incredibly proud of you. I want you to leave here with confidence, because you know what you're doing. You know how to do this job, You're going to be fantastic. You're going to be simply amazing. But I want you to have compassion for those people that find themselves in difficult times. A large percentage of the people that you're going to interact with aren't really criminals. They're bad decision makers. And you've crossed their path on a bad day or a bad night, and they need your help. And I challenge you to help them in those times. Now, there's some people, we're going to hold people accountable for their actions, but you have options. You have discretion. And I challenge you to use those things in the most appropriate way to help people. So in closing, I want you to go forward with courage, professionalism, compassion, and integrity. If you can do all of those things, you are the next generation leader. And I want to thank you, truly thank you, as a law enforcement executive in our community in this state for choosing this noble profession. Again, you're doing something that most people just cannot do and they're not willing to do. And I'm very thankful for you. And remember, as you leave here, this place is always a home for you, right? You've earned your education here. You've lived here, and it's been my honor as the chief of the University of North Georgia Police to ensure your academic success here, to ensure that you could complete the journey you came here to do. And it's been the greatest honor, and the greatest honor for our whole team. And in closing, I'll be selfish and say that when you get to your agency, if you don't feel like you're at home, you just call me. We're always hiring. Congratulations.
And something I know you look down here and see 16, 17 students. Say, well, my gosh, that's not very many. I promise you, we started out with a lot more in this class 11 and 12. When we start out with them, we challenge them. Not only do they have to keep their academics up at the university, they have to do it for the state of Georgia in their academy port training. And they have to pass exam. They have to do physical stuff. They have to mentally take 16 weeks of firearms and qualify, or they don't pass, or they don't stay. We put a lot of pressure on them, and they do well. So that's why you see a small class, but they will tell you that they started off a lot larger. And we try to weave it down and get the best we can get there. You're looking at them right there. And with this in mind, with 2 classes, we always have a class president. And I'd like to invite this class president up, Marnie Couch, and she has something she'd like to say to her classes.
Good morning, everyone. First and foremost, I would like to thank the teachers and the instructors that helped us get to the point where we are today, even though you beat us up, tased us, pepper sprayed us, gave us some impossible quizzes and tests sometimes. We are thankful for your commitment and dedication to us. I would also like to thank all the family members, the friends, and the mentors that are out in the audience. Your support along the way has been crucial into making us the people that we are today. We wouldn't be here without you all. I'm very proud of this class. It has been an absolute privilege to be the class president. I'm so proud of each and every one of you, and this was definitely a very special class to be a part of. We were the first class in program history that didn't have anyone have to go through any kind of remedial training. Everything was done on the first try. It really started with firearms. We didn't know really what was going to happen. We were all very nervous. This was our first test, as individuals and as a group. I think that was the first time we ever really came together and we were like, we can do this. We have to be on each other's side. And then we had DT, where that was probably the longest 2 minutes of a fight that we ever had to do. Definitely a lot of support for each other, cheering each other on as we were getting punched in the face. And then during EVOC, I think that was the most fun that we had as a whole, driving fast. Everyone passed everything on the first time. No one quit along the way, and I think a lot of that has to do with our perseverance. As individuals and as a class, I know y'all heard me say it a million times, perseverance is one of the most important things that you can have. Carry it with you along the way. The minutes of suck have to run out, and y'all are amazing. Y'all did a phenomenal job with that along the way. I used to laugh during the directors' meetings when the current classes would turn back to us and tell us that these would be your best friends. the people that you would be the closest with, but I wish I had listened to them a lot earlier. The friendships, starting from Braves games, just to outings, going line dancing sometimes, bonfires, y'all really turned into my family, and I'm so thankful for each and every one of you and just the people that you have been in my life, and I hope I've done something for you along the way as much as y'all have really done for me. I think a lot about my why and why I want to do this. A long time ago, it was because, you get to drive fast, you get to shoot guns, and you get paid to play with all the toys. And I hope you all remember that there is a purpose in doing this. I believe that Jesus Christ died for us, died for our sins, that he rose again so we could all have eternity for those that believe in him. And I believe that there are two things on earth that we are called to do, and it's to love God and to love people. And I think as law enforcement officers, the way that we love people, it's by protecting those and helping those that are in need when someone else can't do it. And I hope you know that I'm always one phone call away for each and every one of you every time. I love you all. Y'all have been amazing. And I'm so proud of you, and I'm so excited to see where y'all go in life. Thank you.
Now you have me. So what I'd like to do right now is, when I first came here, after I retired, I had the opportunity to start this academy. And I was by myself. Now I have two other people that really put so much into this and just help me in so many ways to make this possible. Miss Sally Parker, would you stand up? Kevin French. Would y'all please give these two a hand? Thank you. Appreciate you. At the end of this, we're going to take all those little barriers down, let you come down and be with your family. Let your family come down. And I see, like Dr. Shannon said, all these police departments, you're going to get to come down and maybe pick up some of these great officers here. To the classes, congratulations. You've completed the University of North Georgia and Peace Officer Standard and Training Council certification process. We're so proud of you, as everybody's already said. You're the next generation of guardians and warriors. And what do I mean by that? And you can't tell me as a family member, and you're going to worry about your son or daughter, your grandson or granddaughter when they go out there. First, we teach them how to be guardians. And we know that that's protecting our citizens, themselves, and you. We would fail them if we didn't teach them how to be warriors. Not only do I have these two great instructors, I have a staff of probably 60 adjunct instructors I can pull from my past for training to help these young men and women learn to be warriors. And that's something that has to cut on in a second and cut off at the same time. We got to know what we got to do, right? Law enforcement's a great profession, but remember, take time to remember your family, because no matter what they tell you, your family's going to be worrying about you. You need to relax their worries and assure them of your professionalism by your proper actions. Never let the job consume you, and always find time for them. I've told you that for 4 years. I've told you that since I started having contact with you. Leave your family concerns at home and for another time. You have to do that. A distracted officer is one who is needlessly put in harm's way and as a result places others in harm's way. These men and women here in uniform that come to see you today, they will tell you that and won't hesitate. Congratulations on an outstanding performance during the academy, and welcome to what I feel is the greatest profession in the world. You have an opportunity because you can dramatically change someone's life for the better by taking the time to care, protect, and to serve. Welcome to the family of law enforcement again. We, as a family, and these guys and girls will tell you, when you get into law enforcement, you're a family of blue, you're a family of brown, whatever you want to call it. You're always a family, and you'll always be there. Will you argue with each other? Yes, you're going to. But you'll never fail to respond when they need you. You'll always be there and helping them get through it. What we're going to do next is we're going to get all these fine people up here and line them up. And we're going to let you come up. If you will, go ahead and line up like you practice.
We will now recognize our graduates.
Y'all want to come up?
Kendall Blanton. River Canales. Emma Carey. Peyton Carter. Marnie Couch. Ethan Hellman. Eli Huey. Skylar Lewis. Lauren Lynch. Lauren McMullen. Benjamin Muffley. Aubrey Parks. Lauren Schoenholtz. Dawson Stevens. Sophia Thacker. Karen Villalobos. And Lawson Willard. We will now recognize some special awards. Over these last 4 years, these students have had to take port exams around the same time as they have to take their final exams. So they have extra expectations placed on them when they enter this academy. And we have a few students who have maintained a 90 and above average on their port exams, which is especially difficult. And we would like to recognize those students at this time. Marnie Couch. Lauren Schoenholtz. Sophia Thacker. And Lawson Willard. We will now recognize our top shooter. This person qualified with the highest average scores out of his first 2 times. They get 5 chances to qualify. So this is the average score of his top 2 qualification scores. This person is Benjamin Muffley. And lastly, we added a new award for this year. So this is our first one. It is our Director's Award. And we asked students to vote on who they thought would be the person to represent this award the most. Some things that we asked them to consider is someone who positively influences others. They served as a role model. They were responsible to themselves and others. They were a problem solver and exemplified excellence. They did more than expected, cared about fellow classmates. They put others first, and they were team-oriented. They inspired goodwill and enthusiasm, and they were loyal, helpful, respectful, thoughtful, and ethical. We would like to recognize that person as Eli Huey.